Well, when you guys got short bodies last weekend, how did you guys figure out who was going to jump in on the power play and some of these special teams units?
Well, I think it's kind of a thing in the game as far as seeing who's going or who's creating a little bit offensively. And I know, we used Jackson Keene a little bit, and I thought he was going for most of the weekend there and putting him in that situation. Ludwig Hoff, same thing. On the 5-minute major, it's kind of tough because you have to have a lot of energy on that. So you try to create a third unit for at least 1 or 2 shifts on there. So, 2 minutes is one thing, but when you have a 5-minute major, it's trying to find a unit that can give you some energy out there instead of taxing the other guys.
What have your thoughts been on Jackson's play since he's come in here about a couple weeks ago?
Well, you know what? He's a guy that's, embraced the opportunity to play in whatever situation that is. And, it didn't happen by chance. He's earned it, but he's earned it through practice and staying with the process. And, coming in, he wasn't figured into being into probably a higher role, but, he's earned an opportunity to try to get more minutes, and especially now with guys out of the lineup. So, it goes off to him as far as being prepared and ready for it.
You guys were protecting the 1-goal lead at the end of the game. You had him on the ice again. What led to putting him out there to protect that lead?
Well, as you can see over the small amount of time here, he's got he plays tenacious. He plays relentless. He plays, on his toes, and a guy that can skate well and get up the ice and take away time and space. That's a big deal when you're trying to defend a little bit here. So again, his energy level is a big thing, but also he's a very smart player. When he has the puck, he makes good decisions with it, makes tape-to-tape passes, and he knows what the next play is. So, there's a lot of things that go into it. And, now, like I told him, the challenge is making sure that you play consistently the way you have been and not letting off the gas.
How important was the play of Jackson and Josh Rieger and some of those guys who jumped in? Maybe haven't seen a ton of time this season, but their play on Saturday.
Well, yeah, their play on the ice, you could tell the way, when you talk about tenacity and getting after it, both of those guys did. And, Josh Rieger was very influential in the start of the game as far as how he wanted to play. But, the other part of it is both those guys, and, Reegs being here last year, he's a fan favorite in the locker room. When we announced he was in the lineup, there was a big uproar and a cheer for him getting in there, and that means he's beloved by the team, and knowing that he's going to give it his all. So, it was an inspirational thing for him coming in the lineup, and I know for our guys, it got a bump out of them too.
He must have did something right, because right away Rieger got into Wolf's head down the end.
Yeah, well, I think Josh Rieger was a captain on his team in juniors, and he's a very competitive guy, and he wants to win more than anybody else, and whatever role that is, he's given, and it's one of those things where he knows that he has to make sure that he is an aggressive player, and he's given it his all, and it happens to be one of their best defensemen that he went after there a little bit. So again, like I said, he's a team first guy, and he'll do whatever it takes to win.
You ever thought of moving him up to forward just full time?
Yeah, well, we already have Casey Johnson up there, and obviously with Reegs now with some injuries, that might be a role for him short term here or even longer term. We'll see where that goes, but again, it has to be a guy that buys into it and is willing to do it, and he does.
Staying in NCAC play obviously doesn't get any easier. With Denver coming in here, what are you expecting out of them?
Yeah, they're a fast-paced team. They always play a fast, upbeat style game, and again, you have to be ready to go right away. They have good sticks. They check well. Especially teams that are good on both sets of that, and again, we're going to have to make sure that we match and exceed the pace of the play, and making sure that everybody is going on Friday night.
How key or important is it maybe to kind of end the first half of the season, so to say, on a high note?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I think we've known now, playing against some top-ranked teams that though if we play the game that we need to do and have discipline within the game, we'll have a good result. And it's just when you get away from that game a little bit that it can go the other way. And again, it's very important that these last 2 NCHC games that we have a positive result.
Post-game in Duluth, a lot of guys mentioned the word consistency. It's been an up and down couple of weeks. Just how do you find that consistency of play?
Well, you know what, and again, I think it goes a lot into, the lineup that we have, and playing simple and playing north and playing a 200-foot game and not beating yourself. Anytime when you have key influential players out of your lineup like Nick Jones and Colin Adams and Joel Janatuinen and players like that, you have to make sure that you play within your system, play a simple game, and make sure that you stay with that and not deviate from it.
Guessing Jones is not available this weekend.
You know what? That's to be determined. He was skating here the last couple of days, and we'll see where he's at. But again, that's not going to be a decision until we'll know here in the next day or so after another couple of days of practice.
You have updates on the other ones?
Not yet. Not yet.